Welcome to a slightly delayed and less elegant beginning to the LGBT Masterclass. My name is Ian Johnson. I'm from Out Now. We are an LGBT specialist consulting firm, and I'm very, very pleased to welcome you today. I'm extremely grateful that you chose this seminar to give your time to, and myself and my esteemed colleagues will do our best to make this the best hour that you spent at WTM. And should you wish to rate this session highly, there is an app, Slido, and you can, in the Slido app, both rate the session, you can give feedback, and importantly, you can input questions and answers for our panel to answer at the end of our session. Now, we have a lot of material to cover, so I will, without further ado, begin. You will see what we're here to talk about. LGBT travel is not a newly discovered market. LGBT is lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. In some countries, you will hear LGBTI for intersex. In some countries, you'll hear A for allies. In some countries, you'll hear QQ for queer or questioning. To us, it's about LGBT meaning people. But the LGBT market has changed. Our company was set up 25 years ago, and the market today is unrecognisable from the world in which we established our company in 1992 in Australia. So what we want to discuss together is where are we right now, but where are we going to next? So what's next? It's always a great question. As America waits up and votes, who knows what tomorrow will bring? But what's next today for LGBT, we're going to discover. We would like to look forwards with you into 2017, acknowledging, as we all know, particularly in travel, we all face a vastly changing landscape, and we want to know, how does that impact in the LGBT market space? How does that affect your business? And what practical steps can you adopt to prosper and do better with this particular market? And the bottom line of today is that bottom line. What is next? What can we learn? So this is our roadmap. We'll be looking at what's new, what hasn't changed, so we understand where we're at. We'll be hearing from the wonderful input of TTG LGBT. You'll be familiar with TTG Media as one of the world's leading travel brands. TTG have been doing some amazing things with the LGBT space, and we'll be hearing about that. We'll be looking at the value of this market. We'll be looking at what strategies are working. We will be hearing about social strategies from Outfluential, a very innovative company making waves in this space. And we will be hearing about the biggest LGBT event on the planet next year. We are very fortunate that we have the decision makers relating to Madrid Destino and World Pride Madrid 2017. And they are here to share with you what's happening in Madrid next year. It is amazing. So the only person in this room, I hope, that is not my friend, is here on my wrist, my watch. We have a lot of information. We have a lot of great speakers. All of our speakers will be quite pacey, as will I, because I did train as a lawyer, and they pay you by the word, so I could keep talking but we don't have. We will be joined by Carlos Alonso, the Presidente for World Pride Madrid 2017. We will be hearing from Sophie Griffiths, the news editor of TTG Media. We will hear from Austin Matter, the founder of Outfluential, and also from Miguel Sanz, the Director General of Tourism, Madrid City Council. So, if you studied marketing as I did, you may be familiar with the textbook marketing 4 Ps: product, price, promotion, and place. These things we understand. But in our market, we add a 5th P. It's people. What Out Now does, we are a people business. We're about connecting products, services, and clients with a group of people. People don't walk around seeing themselves as a target market for anything, even though we all are. But if we focus on people and remember LGBT people are the key to everything that will come into the future and best understand where the people are headed, that's the key to knowing what's next. In terms of our company, strategy, training, and networking. And we have a simple question: do all people deserve respect? isn't only where they're going to, it's where they're coming from. Let me give you an example. In the US today, as people get up and head to the polling places to vote, only 38%, so less than 4 in 10 LGBT people are able to be out with everybody at the office. And that's who's coming to check into your hotel or who's buying your tour. And so they're concerned about you and your suppliers, your people. And even if you're in a city, we work with Berlin, we work with Helsinki, some of the most progressive cities in the world, and they get it. We need to reassure the customer. So we do work with their hotels and help give them some basic certification and training knowledge. But it is about the customer. And why would that be? US 18 months ago. Months later I did it, stopped working. But the autofill used to work. So this is from about 2 years ago, what people were searching on around the world. LGBT people are soulless and self-destructive is the #1 search according to Google autofill. Gay people need to die or to shut up or they need help. Or gays should be killed, the #1 search. So, the LGBT customer lives in that world, not here with us. They need reassurance. They need to know, no matter which destination they're in, they want to know the person at check-in gets it. Brilliant creative. It ticks all of our boxes. We have diversity of customer. We see older people, younger people. We see people who are the young muscular body shape, such as me or others. But you have diversity included, but it's natural inclusion. We see heterosexual customers. We see LGBT customers. The biggest growth segment in our business isn't the LGBT market. It's LGBT allies. In the USA, we just released a report last month that showed that there are now 89 million LGBT allies just in workplaces in the USA, not counting family members and friends. So just with colleagues at work, there are 89 million people who identify as heterosexual or non-LGBT allies of LGBT people. That's a very important piece of this puzzle, and it's part of what's next. You can leverage your support for LGBT to have LGBT allies join their product and brand selection choices. I think we've had enough of me. I get to sit down. I am very delighted and to ask you to join me in welcoming Sophie Griffiths, news editor of DTG Media.
Thank you, Ian, and thanks for letting me be here today. So I'd like to start by just explaining a little bit about TTG Media, who we are and what we do. Our weekly magazine is our flagship product, containing news and features for the UK travel trade with a readership of around 18,000, from high street travel agents and home workers to tour operators and cruise lines. Our business also has many other prongs. We have our website, ttgmedia.com, while other publications include TTG Luxury for the travel trade selling high-end holidays, Roots News, which caters for the aviation sector, and our specialist supplements that we run throughout the year. We also hold many, many events, from roadshows across the country to 2 huge award ceremonies, as well as industry conferences and debates. And of course, we publish the WTM London Dailies. We're the media partner for WTM, so make sure you grab a free copy today. But there is another prong to our business, TTG LGBT. We launched the initiative in April 2015, and the reasons behind it were simple. As a journalist who is also LGBT myself, I'm often invited to media LGBT networking events, and I realized there was nothing for the travel industry, so we decided to create something. We launched it with one sponsor, Celebrity Cruises, and by the end of that week, we had an additional 3, Virgin Holidays, ABTA, and Holiday Extras. A year later, all 4 had signed up again, and they were joined by a 5th, the Malta Tourist Board. It was clear there'd been a very notable gap in the market and that there was a huge need for this to be filled. We began with evening networking events featuring LGBT speakers from outside the industry before we progressed to debates and events outside London, with our first Manchester event in September, which proved a resounding success. And after seeing its success and the interest in the LGBT travel market, both from LGBT people within the industry, but also from companies wanting to target this sector, we realised we should also be addressing the issue of those wanting to market to this community. And on July 13th, 2015, we held the first TTG LGBT conference. It was attended by around 80 agents and suppliers and contained key data about the market from snapshot research conducted with lesbian magazine Diva and gay male publication Gay Times. The survey quizzed 458 readers about how much they tend to spend on their holidays, how many annual breaks they take, the type of holiday they enjoy, and the destinations they prefer to head to, as well as those that they avoid. Key findings show that the LGBT sector is a lucrative one. 29% of respondents said they usually take an overseas holiday between 3 and 4 times a year, and only 15.8% said they took a holiday once a year. 27% said they would spend £2,000 or more per person on their main holiday, while 38% said they would spend between £1,000 and £2,000. That compares with a national average spend of £650, which ABTA estimated last year most people typically spend on their main holiday. Looking at types of holidays, 33% said they preferred beach holidays, 25% preferred to take a city break, and 11% voted in favour of cruising. And contrary to popular belief, party holidays are not high on the agenda for the LGBT market, with the data revealing that only 1% said this was the kind of future holiday they were most interested in. Looking at destinations that respondents said they wished to travel to also proved interesting, with Egypt making the top 10, despite its reported rise in the last few years of arrests of gay men, and the UK Foreign Office having a warning for LGBT people travelling to the country. So how do companies go about attracting the LGBT market? Well, the main tips delegates were told were to avoid stereotyping and pinkwashing. Gay Star News editor-in-chief Tris Reed-Smith urged delegates not to fall for stereotypes and to be as inclusive as possible. And Ian Johnson himself, who joined us, pointed out that businesses should recognise that just using images of muscular gay men to appeal to the LGBT community was likely to exclude huge parts of the market. White gay males are not the only type of gay consumers, he warned. It might attract the eye, but will it close a sale? Most consumers might not identify with it. This year, it was all about moving the conversation on. Taking on the issue of destinations, we explored why no destination should be off-limits, as long as LGBT people are fully informed of the local laws within a country. There are 76 countries that outlaw homosexual acts, with the risk of the death penalty in at least 10 of these. Austin Matter, who's going to be joining us later, co-author of gay travel blog Two Bad Tourists, stressed that those destinations do not need to be off-limits, though. We even had a session focused on the Caribbean, not exactly the most welcoming LGBT region in the world. We interviewed the Caribbean Tourism Organisation's Director of Marketing for the UK and Europe, Carol Hay, And while she acknowledged that the laws in some islands prevented tourist boards from actively promoting to the LGBT sector, she insisted this did not mean LGBT holiday makers would not be welcomed. We learned overall that it is yours, the travel industry's job, to inform these holiday makers. The role of travel agents and operators has never been more important to this sector. Know a country's LGBT laws and rights and make sure that your clients are fully informed. We heard case studies from the businesses doing it well, such as Kuoni, who after the first TTG LGBT conference last year decided to launch their own LGBT specialist experts. They attracted huge media coverage as a result and saw notable success, including a 25% rise in sales of same-sex honeymoons. The company is now planning to roll out its LGBT training to every single one of its sales consultants. And then there were the tales from businesses outside of travel who were well practiced at marketing to the LGBT sector and were able to share tips from their own experiences. We heard from Michelle Toft, Chief Marketing Officer at agency Correggio, which promotes the Pink Lady apple. She argued that if companies take the decision to embrace the LGBT sector, they should be committed, even if there is negativity from others. If a pink lady was an apple, if a pink lady apple was a person, she said, I would hope they would be an inclusive person. For those that might complain, I'm really happy if they never buy pink lady apples ever again. Jean Redden from Lloyds Bank explained how encouraging her team to look at all advertising campaigns through a lens of inclusivity had aided them. We have a diverse team ourselves, so we ask, can we all see ourselves in that marketing? She said. Lloyds themselves featured a same-sex marriage proposal in a TV advert this year, which Redden said had received an overwhelming positive response, both from the LGBT community and its allies. She said there have been complaints, but she said there are always complaints, whatever adverts the company runs. If we put a sink on it, we get complaints, she said. And of course, we couldn't forget the B word. Tris Reed-Smith, editor-in-chief of Gay Star News, who returned again this year, noted that LGBT people, around 76%, had voted overwhelmingly to remain in the European Union. He said those that voted Remain were more likely to have a different way of looking at the world, to think beyond the heterosexual norms and racial norms. Like others, his message was to reach out to those that feel excluded from the mainstream heterosexual family-centric advertising. So to conclude, the top learnings from our conferences were it's good to target the LGBT market. Not only is it lucrative, it sends a positive message to the wider market about the inclusivity of your business. Don't stereotype. LGBT people are no different from anybody else. They come in all shapes, sizes, and races. Make sure your marketing reflects that. Don't pink or rainbow wash. Just tagging a rainbow sticker onto a website or advert does not mean you will appeal to the LGBT market. In some cases, it may even put them off. It could be seen as lazy marketing from a business that doesn't really understand and hasn't taken the time to bother understanding the LGBT community. Don't assume a destination is off limits just because of its LGBT rights. Just make sure that you're fully clued up on the laws before you recommend it to a client, and make sure that customers are fully informed before they travel. The UK Foreign Office is a really good place to start and usually lists LGBT local rights under its advice for each country. Remember, it's not just about embracing diversity, it's about embracing inclusivity as a whole. Marketing, in the UK at least, should reflect 21st century Britain. We're a society of all ethnicities and sexual persuasions. At the end of the day, people just want to see themselves in marketing and advertising campaigns. So thank you very much for all of your time. If you would like to know more about TTG LGBT, please do visit our website, www.ttgmedia.com/LGBT, or email lgbt@ttgmedia.com for more information or to sign up to attend our events. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Sophie. And I have been fortunate enough to attend some of the TTG LGBT, both the networking events and obviously the two conferences. They are fantastic. They are well worth your investment of time. I would heartily recommend them. So speaking of time, again, my friend on my arm. What's the LGBT travel market worth? This is important because obviously everybody has a boss. Most of us have a boss, and it's important to explain. There are two reasons we believe why you should consider this market. Some of them are reasons of the heart. It's nice to treat people equally and with respect. And some are reasons of the head. Business. So what's it worth? I'm very pleased to say this is the first time in the world that anybody has seen this, is the new global valuation for the LGBT market in the top 18 markets worldwide. Now, these top 18 markets are markets where they are large enough or viable enough in terms of access for you to consider targeting. We undertake our LGBT 2030 study in more than 20 countries around the world. I think we're into our 26th market and our 15th language. We have a consumer panel of more than 130,000 people and growing. These are people who we can access for research and for marketing purposes. We've asked them over the last few months what they've been spending in 2015 and 2016 on travel. When you add it up, we see the global spend is $211 billion annually by the LGBT market on tourism. The way that breaks down is this: the USA market spends just under $61 billion each year. We see other markets such as Brazil, Japan, Mexico, and so on making an impact. I make a comment about the figures in red and in light blue. Two of the high-growth markets this past 3 years were Colombia and India, both showing growth rates of 4 or 5%. Two markets which went slightly negative, slightly backwards, were Argentina and Italy. Obviously, for economic reasons, that's reflected in the spend figures from those markets. But this is the current valuation of annual LGBT tourism spend. We have some big and exciting plans for the Global Research Initiative, LGBT 2030, which is launching in January. We're refreshing all of our data sets, including our tourism data sets. I'm very pleased to announce we're partnering with Gay Times as an exclusive gay male media partner in the UK market. And we will be collecting the largest ever market sampling of UK gay men. That data will be released in London, covering the whole of the UK market in March 2017. And GT are one of the best media products in the world, so they're also naturally a member of the Out Now Preferred Media Partner Program. Okay, intersectionality. What is that word? You may hear it more and more. What it means is all of us are diverse in different ways. I'm of a certain age. I'm Australian. I live in the Netherlands. I'm an immigrant. I'm gay. All of these give me a piece of the puzzle that go to make up Ian Johnson. Every one of us have intersections of our diversity based upon who we are. And this increasingly is something that will impact upon the ways in which you think of this market. For example, LGBT allies, as we said, this is a group of people who are not LGBT themselves, but by virtue of who they choose to support, become part of the greater orbit of an LGBT solar system in terms of marketing. We are working to connect our clients with both LGBT people and the millions of allies who support them. Think about intersectionality. Think about what we saw in the Celebrity Cruises video, and now take a look at this.
She's all you'd ever want. She's the kind that likes to flaunt and take to dinner. But she always knows her place. She's got style, she's got grace. She's a winner. She's a winner. She's a lady. Oh, she's a lady. Talking about that little lady. And the lady is mine. She's never in the way, always something nice to say. What a blessing, what a blessing. I can leave her on her own, knowing she's okay alone. That's no message. She's a lady, oh, she's a lady. Talking about that little lady, and the lady is mine.
So H&M have recognised there is not one particular kind of woman who is a customer for their products and services. So why should they limit the communications and brand positioning strategies to a particular slice of the marketplace. Everybody is diverse, and the more that you can reflect diversity and cultural inclusion in your communication strategies, the stronger your brand can grow, particularly in the LGBT community, which is a very diverse collection of people. So that's a trend. Now, gender is becoming less important. I'm not sure if any of you spotted this, but that is last month's CoverGirl model, and that's a 17-year-old boy. And he is introducing us to the concept that gender is and can be a fluid concept. A gender identity, some people may identify with different genders in different situations. Some people may be born transgender, which I'm not transgender, but the way I think of it is if I looked in the mirror and my spirit, if you will, I know that I am male or I am a man, and that's me. But if I looked in the mirror and a woman's face came back, but I knew I was a man, so I was in a female body, that would make me a trans man. And many men perhaps have that experience, so born male but perhaps identify as a woman. Other people, when we do our research, we say, what is your sexual orientation? One of the most common terms we increasingly see is pansexual. This is somebody who simply loves people. It's almost different to bisexual. They don't even want that limitation of their label. So this boy is setting a trend, genderless marketing. It's something to be aware of. Millennials expect you to do better. They expect you to evolve as a brand. People younger than me, millennials are looking for inclusive brands, and they want to see that you get it. They want to see you include diversity. They want you to not see you use gender stereotypes. They want you to include sexual orientations. We have a live Twitter chat this afternoon. If you want to tweet from here, please feel free. If you use the hashtag LGBT Village, a lot of people will be seeing what you tweet today. You can join in starting live at 4 p.m. this afternoon. We have a series of 7 questions relating to the market. If you'd like to be involved, come to the LGBT Village, which is at UKI 238, and you can take part with us live there. Having gotten to social media in record time, I'm delighted to ask you to help me welcome one of the leaders in our industry at doing just that, Mr. Austin Matter from Outfluential.
Thanks, Ian. So like Ian, I just want to thank everyone for taking the time to sit with us this afternoon for the hour. Hopefully it's useful information for everybody. So like Ian said, my name is Austin Mata. I run a company called Outfluential. And essentially what we do is we do content, social media, and influencer marketing. And we focus on the LGBT segment. So we promote LGBT tourism for people like yourselves, brands, destinations, hotels, tour operators, agencies, etc. But we do it a little bit differently than traditional media. We actually use influencers, so people who are maybe bloggers or YouTubers or people who have built a social media following on their own and have a big group or a network of trusted people who look to them for advice every day online. And why do we do that? I'll tell you a little bit about it. But nowadays, people trust people as opposed to advertising. People don't like to be talked to. People don't like to see ads in sort of the same way they used to, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But just quickly, what exactly is an influencer when I say influencer? So I'm not talking about a celebrity. I'm not talking about Justin Bieber or Kim Kardashian. I'm talking about regular people who have created a following on social media, whether it's through Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. But these are regular people who've developed a following, and they have a whole network, whether it's small or large, of people who actually look to them, trust the things that they say, and those influencers influence the decisions that those people actually make every day. So just a few statistics that are actually interesting about influencer marketing. So if you look to some of the research, 92% of customers actually trust word of mouth recommendations over all their forms of advertising. So if you think about it, it's pretty obvious. You're going to trust your friend or your family member if they recommend something, probably before you would a stranger. Or you're going to trust them before you would trust advertisement in perhaps a magazine or online. So social media, I mean, this has been going on for, 5 or 10 years now. If you're not on social, you're probably a bit lagging behind. Things are changing really quickly. But what's really interesting is actually statistics show that 74% of consumers actually rely on social media every day to actually influence their purchasing decisions. And just more than half, actually travelers, they actually change their plans when they see someone mention something about travel. So maybe they've got a trip booked to Spain or the UK, and they're cruising Twitter and they see one of their friends or maybe an influencer tweet something about, well, hey, you should check out this destination. More than half of the people will actually adjust their plans once they see that, because social media is basically a one-on-one connection that you can have, word-of-mouth communications, even if you're not in front of that person face-to-face. But one of the most interesting things about influencer marketing is the fact that it's actually really, really impactful if you do it correctly. So studies have shown that if you use influencer marketing for your brand and you do it in the right way, you can actually increase conversions anywhere from 3 to 10%, 3 to 10 times higher rate than traditional advertising. So I don't have a lot of time, but I will just jump into a couple of case studies of some of the campaigns that we've worked on with our clients at Outfluential. So first we'll talk about a campaign that we did with a young gay couple YouTubers, and we sent them to a property in the States, and I'll show you some info about that. And then I'm actually going to talk a little bit more about the Twitter chat that Ian mentioned, which you're all welcome to join later today, in person or virtually. So some of you may be aware of there's a property called the Borgata Hotel, Casino, and Spa, and they're actually located in Atlantic City. What's really interesting about this property is they're sort of a Las Vegas-style casino, but located on the East Coast. And they've actually been really progressive in their LGBT marketing. So not only do they target the market, but they actually sort of walk the walk instead of talking the talk. So they've been listed on the Human Rights Campaign as having a 100% score for equality to their employees and all the things that you really want a business to do to support them. So they approached us and they wanted us to do a campaign. So we actually sent a couple, their names are Vinny and Luke. Their channel is called V Squared, and they have about 100,000 subscribers. And we sent them out for a 2-night visit to the property. And was really what this property wanted to do is they wanted to target sort of young millennial couples. And so that was sort of a great fit for these people's YouTube, because, well, that's who follow them. People are going to follow similar traits. And so one of the things is we sent them to the property, and they made a video. And in the course of 10 minutes, they showed sort of all the things that they did, the nightlife. They went out, they had a massage. They did all the things that sort of a normal person would do, but 100,000 people got to see it. And at the end of the video, we actually had a call to action where we promoted a giveaway where one of their followers could actually win a trip to the Borgata. And so not only did we get about, I'll show the results in a minute, but 15,000 new eyes on the property, we actually generated 500 additional email subscriptions that the property could then use to actually retarget and communicate with those people in the future. So I mentioned we got from that the 500 emails, 15,000 views. We actually generated about 200,000 social media impressions. So that basically means there's 200,000 people potentially saw the Facebook's posts and the Twitter, the tweets that Vinny and Luke posted, and the Instagram posts as well. And one of the other things we were actually able to do with this video campaign is the Borgata property actually didn't have any LGBT-specific video content, which a lot of people struggle with having images and video to that show, things like Ian showed, where you have couples participating in these activities. Well, so since they were shooting video for their own channel anyways, we actually just handed over all the raw footage to the property. Wasn't a whole lot of extra cost for either part. And then they're actually able to use that video to piece together a campaign for their own business and for the property. So it's sort of killing two birds with one stone and repurposing content. So my next case study is not number 3. I think number 3 got lost. It's actually number 2. But last year, actually, for the first time, we did a Twitter chat in association with WTM and the LGBT Village. And the whole idea is we really want to collect everybody in this community and sort of introduce everyone to each other in a networking event, but we also want to bring the online community at the same time. So even if you're not at WTM, you're going to see there's going to be hundreds of people jumping on this Twitter chat talking about LGBT tourism. And so really the goal is really just to connect people in the industry. We want to connect not only consumers interested in LGBT travel or just interested in travel, but we want to connect them with you so the industry So we want everyone to sort of talk about the same thing, be aware of maybe brands and destinations and tour operators that maybe I'm not aware of, you're not aware of. And it's a great way just to connect virtually in 30 minutes, and it's really not too difficult to join. But Ian kind of mentioned, if you tweet and you use that hashtag, a whole lot of people are going to see what you're talking about. So what we actually had last year, and hopefully the numbers will go up this year, but we had more than 730, that hashtag was used more than 730 times just in that 30-minute period. We had more than 150 participants. Probably about 20 to 30 were actually at the stand, and the rest were all virtually online. In terms of impressions, so we had more than 4 million impressions were generated on Twitter. So basically, what that means is up to 400 million people had the opportunity to see the conversation that was happening on Twitter at any time. And if you actually measure the value, if you were to actually pay for the same amount of sponsored tweets, you'd pay about $68,000 for that. So that's all I have, actually. So if anyone has any questions, you can contact me here, or you can find me at the end. Thank you.
Thank you. Austin is a good person to know when you want some social media advice. Go talk to Austin. You can find him at the LGBT Village this afternoon at 4 p.m. during the live Twitter chat, and tomorrow, all day tomorrow as well. Things that you should be thinking of doing: network, such as the LGBT Twitter chat, credentialize, train and certify your product, and be found where the market is, diversify your reach. We invite all of you to join our free B2B networking association. You can do that easily after the session. Go to outnowbusinessclass.com. All members of the travel industry are welcome to network and find each other. It's now the world's largest travel trade networking association in the world. We have almost 900 members, and you can connect and find many people from around the world who can help you to do your business. outnowbusinessclass.com, and that's free from Outnow. A couple of ways that we're working to help clients move themselves to where they need to be next is learn.lgbt, welcome.lgbt, and expanding training. If you go to learn.lgbt, you'll see something interesting from today. On the bottom right is an option. If you are a travel agent, you're welcome to click there and register free to become trained and certified in LGBT travel. This is a new innovation thanks to Travel Market Report, which is free for the global industry, for all travel agents. We want to increase that channel for the LGBT market. Currently, travel agents are underrepresented compared to the mainstream in this market, and we think it's because people are nervous about coming out to their travel agent. But if you take this program and be certified, we can help LGBT customers find you. You can do that at learn.lgbt. There's no .com. And then you can be listed on our hotel and travel agents listing site, welcome.lgbt, which is where consumers can find out who they should buy their travel product with. So let's move on to the next level. Next year, the biggest event in the world is coming to Madrid for the LGBT community. There's no question of that. Madrid has long been a leader in the LGBT space. They are a destination that is all about inclusion and welcome. But you don't need me to tell you that, because we actually have one of the decision makers here. He can tell it far better than I can. Please join me in welcoming Miguel Sanz from Madrid City Council.
Thank you, everyone. English is not my mother tongue, so I hope that you can understand my funny Spanish accent. I just want to make the case for Madrid. Madrid is proud and ready to host the biggest, as Ian said, the biggest LGBT event in the world. Madrid Pride is already one of the biggest LGBT events in the world, and I just want to make run through a few figures. Madrid is a big city. It's the capital of Spain. More than 3 million people, with some features like we host the oldest restaurant in the world, called Casa Botins, founded in 1725. And we have more than 780 hotels that have over 81,000 seats, but beds. Also, this year we will receive more than 9 million visitors. That is more visitors that a whole country like Cuba, which is a great tourist destination as well. This year we will make over 18 million overnight stays in our hotels, and that we are only counting hotels and not other type of accommodation, very trendy these days. Connectivity-wise, we have one of the 5 largest airports in Europe, Madrid Barajas, that host more than 166 direct connections with the rest of the world. And Spain has the second largest high-speed train connectivity, or highest-speed train network in the world after China, being a tenth of the size of China. Highlights of Madrid. We have excellent weather, and this is important, being here in London. More than 250 days of sun. That's not in 10 years, in a 10-year span, it's a 1-year span. Over 365 days a year. We are one of the European capitals with most extensive green areas, and very important for many LGBT travelers as well as heterosexual travelers is that we are the second safest capital in Europe according to Eurostat. In fact, Madrid has been ranked within the top 15 best cities to live in according to the British magazine Monocle. Some LGBT highlights. Madrid has one of the, I wouldn't say largest, but at least I would say visible LGBT communities in the world. And that is because Spain has one of the most tolerant and progressive attitudes towards the LGBT community. The Pew Research Center said in their 2014 study that Spain is the most tolerant country in the world, with 94% of the population saying that homosexuality was acceptable or they had no problem at all. That is the most tolerant country in the world. We may not have the reputation for that, but the fact is that we are the most tolerant country in the world. And that is also why we have some of the most progressive legislation towards the LGBT community in Europe and, of course, the world. We introduced equal marriage legislation in 2005, being, I think, the third country in the world to have such legislation. Coming back to the city, Chueca, it's our Castro, our LGBT or gay neighborhood. And I think that Chueca is... LGBT or gay friendliness in Madrid is not about one neighborhood. We don't have LGBT ghettos. Madrid is a gay-friendly city as a whole, but it is true that it all started in this neighborhood, in the Chueca neighborhood, which is right in the center of the city. And Chueca perfectly represents the Madrid attributes and the Madrid core values are friendly, tolerant, welcoming, and fun. And about Madrid Pride, and I'm only an introduction to the true leading roles of these, which are the LGBT Madrid Pride and the LGBT associations. Madrid Pride is a must on every LGBT calendar. It is already the most important celebration in the city, with no etiquette. It's the single most important celebration in the city of Madrid that welcomes over 1.5 million participants each year from all countries, sexual orientation, or walks of life. The economic impact of Madrid is the single most important event, not only in terms of participation, but also in terms of revenue generated, with over 150 million euros. This is a picture of Madrid Pride, and also other events in Madrid throughout the year, as the We Party festivals, Mad Bear, the Les Gay Cinema, it's a film festival with gay films, Gay Day Madrid at the amusement park, and Union Cup, which is a rugby competition. And let me just give you a sneak preview of what World Pride Madrid is going to be before introducing my colleagues from Madrid Pride. So if you can play the video, please. Oh, you have? Okay.
You're with me, it's alright. Together, all our lives, a new start is inside. We're falling, it feels right. It's okay to hold me. You know where I wanna be. It's okay to hold me.
As they say, whoever you love, Madrid loves you. Thank you very much, Miguel Sanz. With no further ado, we've heard about them, and we actually have two colleagues joining us from World Pride Madrid. We have Juan Carlos and Alfonso. If you'd please welcome them with me. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Buenos días. Gracias a todos y todas por venir. Thank you, Ian. It's a real pleasure for us, a short presentation for World Pride Madrid next year in the city. Our city is ready for celebrate the first World Pride in Spanish. Madrid is the 5th city in the world celebrate this important event. In Madrid, we celebrate next year the 40th anniversary of the first Pride parades in our country, in Spain, and the celebration also includes the 30th anniversary of the beginning the celebrations in the Chueca neighborhood, the 20th anniversary of the first tracks on the parade, and the 10th anniversary of the Madrid organized the Euro Pride. And also the next year in Madrid, the World Pride also includes the official celebration of Euro Pride. The two most important LGBT Pride events in the world in the same city in the same year.
We want to apologize for a few mistakes in our presentation because we used Google Translator in the beginning, and some of the slides are not, the grammar is quite not correct, so sorry about that. We have been positioning in Madrid internationally within the gay LGBT world and tourism. We became part of Interpride in 2005, European Pride Organization and IGLTA. We have attended since then all the IGLTA conventions, fairs like World Travel Market, ITB Berlin or Fitur in Madrid, as well as participating in promotion campaigns worldwide, including many Prides events in the world, and Madrid has been awarded twice the best Madrid Pride best LGBT event of the world.
The dates for the World Pride is from Friday 23 of June till Sunday 2nd of July, but also we organize a lot of activities along the year. Not only for 10 days, but of course this is the main 10 days, and the main day is Saturday 1st of July. The Pride Parade is the main event in our Pride, and the closing ceremony is Sunday 2nd of July, and we take over the next city organized the World Pride in 2019 in New York City.
Madrid Pride, World Pride, will take place in the city center in more than 6 stages, open air stages that are completely free. These stages are set up on Wednesday, June 28th till Sunday the 2nd. We are expecting more than 2 million visitors. Together with the people that already share the event in Madrid, we are expecting to celebrate the biggest ever World Pride and Pride event in the world. And as Miguel said before, the Pride Parade is the main event taking place on Saturday, July 1st. It takes place downtown Madrid. It's a long parade. It goes over more than 7 hours. So if you are planning to come, get ready for it. And one of the main features in our World Pride Madrid 2017 is World Pride Park. If there's any Mancunian here, it won't be new for them because they already do this kind of village in their Pride, which is great, by the way. But for us, it's the first time that we organize not just a fair, but an expo for to make everybody participate in a way like here in ITB with this booths and stands for associations, LGBT organizations, tourism offices, for the final customer to know all their products and what they offer. There's going to be also a stage, a cultural stage, where there will be presentations and which all the organizations in the booths will be able to also participate and share the stage. And food trucks and activities for all the family, children, all during the day.
The World Pride also includes a full program of sports competition, not only in the 10 days from 23 of June till Sunday 2nd of July, along the year. We also had celebrate two important competitions this last summer and in the next last month of October. And one of the most important is next month of May, the Union Cup, the international LGBT rugby competition. We expect around 1,000 rugby players for Europe and other countries all over the world. Of course, the World Pride includes a cultural program, international cultural program with exhibition, dance and drama, literature, cinema, street artists intervention, and of course the biggest cultural festival for LGBT people is Mostrate, and the main stage for this festival is in Plaza del Rey in Chueca neighborhood, and all the activities of this stage is totally free for all the people. And one of the most important activities for the World Pride is the International Human Rights Conference. The Universidad Autónoma de Madrid will host this really important event, and the International Human Rights Conference is from Monday, 26th of June, till Wednesday, 28th of June.
And we want to leave you also with a video that I think it's in one of the next time. This is just slides about all the things we're doing right now in promotion in World Pride, and we'll leave you also with this video. Thank you.
We know everything we've done, but it vanished with a beating drum. 'Cause we know that the night is endless. We could be living for 100 years, but it would feel just like a heartbeat. 'Cause we know that the night is endless. Endless. The night is
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, as I said, the clock is winning and time waits for no man, including me. In summarizing, be careful not to stereotype your consumer. There is not a typical LGBT customer. All of these people could be part of this market. Think diversity and seek to include it. There is no such thing as a typical LGBT person, and be careful to avoid stereotypes in your communications. Gay guests come in all shapes and sizes, and LGBT families have the same concerns as every other family. It's not just those two guys. You need to be speaking to those guys, these women, these people, when you think about how to communicate with this market. So reflect your customer. These two guys are what we call bears, and they happen to be getting married in Britain on the day when marriage equality came to this country. And that was a campaign out now created for Visit Britain, and again with other diverse images within that communication strategy. Germany is doing some great work. This is the Germany.travel website for LGBT, which out now did the work for them on that. This is actually going out tomorrow, a new campaign we're working on for Germany about LGBT Cologne, along with some other destinations. Helsinki, again, another out now campaign for a client. This is Tom of Finland. That painting turns 70 years old next year. That was painted in 1947. This is not a new phenomenon. Please, today, use the hashtag LGBT Village. A large audience will see what you're doing. Just inject yourself there from your Twitter account. Put in your thoughts. Join us live at 4 p.m. on Twitter or at the LGBT Village at stand UKI 238. You can join Greater Fort Lauderdale, CVB, who are one of the long-time supporters of LGBT tourism. GT, Gay Times Magazine, Madrid, of course, Outfluential, and more. So please feel free to come join us. The market keeps changing. You need to keep evolving. You can get in touch with us. There was one question, which I'll quickly answer, which was, do you see the pace of change accelerating? The answer is yes. That came from the floor, so thank you who put that question. It is getting faster and faster towards inclusion. You are on the right side of strategy if you include LGBT people now in what you're doing for the future. So that was the question. We don't have much time. So I guess what we will have to say is thank you to all of my panelists, and mostly thank you to all of you for your time. Thank you all very much.